Greetings everyone, welcome to game number 3 here at the After Hours Gaming League Season 3 Week 1 match. It is going to be a Terran versus Zerg this time, continuing on with that Zerg theme throughout this this particular team fight. Of course, we are seeing some of the two of the big names in the social media sphere. If you will. Of course, we have at the top right hand side playing for Team Twitter, one of the biggest social networking sites, systems in the world. I don't know, sites or worlds or systems. I don't know which one it is. One of you guys tell me which one it is. We have our blue Terran player going by the name of ProdigalSun, and his opponent down the bottom left hand side is our red Zerg player playing for Team Zynga. Of course, the social networking games geniuses over there will be our red Zerg player Fredo. Not sure if that's Fredo after the chocolate frog, the confectionery candy, whatever you call it. I don't know if you guys have that or across, if anyone else has that internationally. It's a type of chocolate thing. It's called Fredo Frog. Maybe that's just an Australian thing. I don't know. Post in the comments. We'll see if it is or not. Of course, we have seen Zynga go on a bit of a tear right now. They're up 2-0. Twitter in a little bit of trouble right now. They will need to take this game. ProdigalSun, it is, it's effectively sitting on his shoulders like it often does with a ProdigalSun. He is going to go for a Rax-style opening with a gas follow-up. So I doubt it's going to be a CC first. Oh, sorry, not a CC first. The CC after Rax. That's what I'm looking for. Meanwhile, for Fredo, he's going to go a little bit more of the standard style, of course, with the hatchery coming out first from him, and we'll see where he goes from there. Of course, TvZ, a very interesting matchup in Heart of the Swarm, of course, after the recent changes to the siege tank, where siege mode is available without researching it. That has actually put quite a stop to basically any sorts of early, I want to say mainly any sorts of early-based roach rushes that Zergs like to throw out there. Of course, they can be, the siege tanks can be quickly gotten out, 1 or 2 at the top of the cliff. If you want, you can put them in a spot like just up here, and then they've got full range to cover this sort of area, and you can stop any sort of rush here, and you can just bust them out very quickly and halt any type of rush. So it's very interesting to see how that goes. Of course, as we can see, our, whoops, I forgot about the sound, there we go. Our hatchery just about to pop up here for Fredo. The spawning pool is almost just about to pop as well. ProdigalSun having a quick look around, wants to see what's going on. Does see the spawning pool about to finish up there, and he will obviously know the various timings that he's going to be able to look for right now. He is going to go factory straight after that Rax, and no expansion in sight. Of course, that extra 150 minerals being thrown into the factory. You do sometimes see some players will grab a reactor and they go for some widow mines, and basically, like, it sounds really stupid, but what you can do is almost just walk the widow mines across the map, just run them down, maybe come in from the sides and come into this into the mineral lines here, plop them down inside the mineral lines. Basically deny the Zerg player any sort of mining at maybe the main base or maybe even the natural base for quite a while. So it's, you know, we may see something like that, but it looks as if he may actually just switch around and go for a Hellion play. A couple of Marines coming out, being very daring here. Of course, this one SCV is extremely daring. This guy's got 1 shot left on him, only 5 HP left over for that guy, so he's going to have to be very, very careful right now. As we can see, it is going to be a Reactor Hellion base play. Yep, there it is. Just going to crank them out straight away. Of course, the advantage of the Hellions, they give you beautiful map control. Of course, you will be able to knock down any Zerglings that are sitting around these 2 Zelnaga watchtowers to the right hand side of this interesting map, Howling Peaks. There are some really cool environmental sounds, like sort of over here. Sometimes you can hear some really interesting sounds. Maybe we'll get to hear some of them later on if the players venture over there. But for the moment, it looks like both of these guys just content to just sort of sit back for the moment. A couple of Hellions are out, and ProdigalSun is going to have a quick poke around. A couple more on the way also, and his command center also being built right up the back there of his main base. Some Ling's going to see what they can do, but the damage is going to come here from these Hellions. It looks like they're just going to waltz right inside the main. Of course, it does take a little bit longer for 2 Hellions to actually get a lot of damage done on the drones, but when they line up like that, that is never a good thing, and that is not good at all for our Zynga player. Fredo, he's had, wow, quite a lot of drones were lost there. 9 in total, which 9 drones for 2 Hellions is pretty much one of the best trades you can ever get. But unfortunately for our Terran player here, ProdigalSun, he actually was scouted out quite a bit, and the Marine, well, basically the bio-based play has been seen. So our Zerg player will be able to prepare for that. Of course, we'll probably see him grab a Baneley nest at sometime very soon. He's going to pick up 2 Evo chambers as well. I would not be surprised if he goes, if he actually heads across to take that hatchery at the 3rd base there. A little bit surprised he hasn't grabbed that just yet. But we'll see if he is going to go for a 2-base play. I highly doubt it. He's going to start spreading the creep across as well, which is always a fantastic thing. So, you know, as I said, Widow Mines can be used from time to time. The problem with using them in TvZ is the fact that they can be triggered by just one Zergling, and then you have to wait 40 seconds until you can use it again, and that's never a good thing to do. So it looks like we are going to stick with the Hellions for the time being. Stim being researched at the moment by ProdigalSun as well. Looks like Fredo is going to take his gases 3 and 4. He's really going to prepare for some kind of attack very soon. Looks like he may, well, we haven't really seen the particular tech that he wants to go for, but he hasn't even started at the Evo chambers the actual upgrades that he wants as well to complement those units that he's going to go for. So we'll keep an eye on what he's up to. For ProdigalSun, of course, he has taken the natural base here. We got a couple of Hellions out the front, some Marines just chilling, a bunker as well. And you know, the thing about this particular map, as we mentioned before, you can utilize tanks to shut down any sort of early aggression. The problem lies in the fact that there are these whoops, we'll use the arrow for this one. There are the multiple attack paths to come in from. You can come in from the side. It's very much like Zynga Caverns, if anyone remembers that map, in the fact that you do have that side portion to come through, and then you've also got to defend the front as well. So you have to be very careful with this map. You don't want to neglect this side portion here and just sort of put like one supply depot here to block it, but you want to actually properly wall it off, so you don't really have to matter about it too much. But we do see that our Zerg player still has not actually gone for any upgrades just as of yet. He does have a Baneley nest being morphed in right now. That's around about 2/3 of the way done. He is now going to head down and take his 3rd base as well. With the lair being done, it looks like we will see a spire also be built by our Zerg player Fredo, so he's going to look to get some really good map control going. Of course, the Hellions are fantastic in their own right for controlling things on the ground, but once those mutas are out, they will absolutely dominate the skies and dominate the ground for the larger part of this early game phase. The Queens come along, looks like they're trying to help out with the defense against these Hellions. It will be a very interesting battle. Bit of a game of chicken here. Will the Zerglings be daring enough to come along? I do not know if they're bad enough dudes to just try out and take on these Hellions. There are 5 Hellions there. It's quite a lot of splash damage being done by ProdigalSun, and it looks like he is going to retreat for the moment, given that a couple of those Hellions are getting a little bit low. So his game just sort of proceeding at a sort of standard sort of pace. We haven't really seen either of these players go for any of the Heart of the Swarm based units here. Turret going up for ProdigalSun. I believe he did. Yep, he did scan that Spire is on the way, so he does need to get prepared just in case the Mutaflock begins to flourish and come across the map. But it looks like he will be, you know, relatively well prepared. We've got 1 turret going up inside the natural, 1 inside the main. We'll have to see if this is going to be enough, because at the moment there will be 7 mutas flying across the map. Of course, with a couple of Marines in tow, the turrets should be fine to defend against these mutas, given that there's only 7. The issue may come if more mutas pop out, though, so we'll keep an eye on that. Of course, the 1-1 upgrades are on the way. Halfway done with the infantry weapons. The shield, the armor, sorry, is just a little bit away as well. Looks like a tech lab being targeted down by our Zerg player Fredo. He's going to actually just get rid of that. Of course, the interesting thing now is that the tech lab's gone. You know, the only casualty of that is that you won't be able to get blue flame very quickly, and given that given the ProdigalSun is not actually going for a mech style, that's not going to matter to him too much. He could probably just sit here, of course, and just crank out a couple more Hellions or maybe some Widow Mines, then maybe get the tech lab a little bit later once you're all secure. But it looks like he is going to plop down a couple more turrets just to make sure he is defended against these mutas. The 3rd base now flourishing for Fredo. He's up to 64 drones right now, getting to that sweet spot that every Zerg loves, and we'll see if he is going to go for that very powerful push once he gets to a very high number of that. And of course the upgrades are coming along for him as well. He's now got +1 on the air units now just about to come about. There are a lot of mutas in this mix now. We've got we actually have a total of 10 mutas are in this flock, and they're just going to go to town on the rest of these buildings that are inside the base. The Marines finally coming along. They're combat shields prepped and ready. There's stim also ready to inject, but no need for that just yet. The mutas are just going to stand back for the time being. ProdigalSun is still stuck a little bit lower on 44 workers right now. He's sort of cut down that production. I'm not sure whether it was on purpose or not, but he's basically not been producing any SCVs at all, and it is going to start to cost him very soon. If he wants to push out and go for a 2-base push, then obviously that's going to be fine, but if he wants to take this into a little bit more of a longer macro game, he will need to continue on with that SCV production. For our Zerg player Fredo, of course, he is still continuing on powering up those upgrades. We've got 1-1 on his ground upgrades just being researched right now. +1 to the air attack is just about to complete as well, and 7 banelings are also being morphed in. So he's got the baneling move speed, the roly-poly as I like to call it. That's going to come along very soon. But before that happens, it looks like ProdigalSun is getting ready for a push. We've got his infantry weapons upgrade and armor now done. He also has, did I see? No, I didn't. Oh, okay, just finished up now. The armor just finished now. He's going to try and take a 3rd base behind this. Unfortunately for him, the mutas have scouted every single thing of that, and it looks like ProdigalSun is now starting to push in. If the tanks can siege up in time, that may be able to secure him the win, but no, it looks like he is not going to really get into a good position there. Some of the Marines taking huge hits. The medevacs are going to have to really get on their job there, because they're going to have a big load of work ahead of them, healing up all these Marines that are in the orange, the red, and the yellow. But now, as we can see, more banelings morphing in for our Zerg. Fredo is getting into a good position here with all these mutas. Snipes down the tanks. If he can get rid of the tanks, then the banelings will be just able to sweep through, given that our Terran ProdigalSun is all over the creep here, and the banelings just having an absolute ball of a time, dealing massive damage to all of the tanks, and the remaining tank, I should say, and the rest of the Marines that were standing by. Of course, the medevacs doing their best to try and heal up those Marines, but unfortunately, that's not going to last too long, and the last remaining tank fires 1 shot and then disappears into the night. So ProdigalSun, as we said, if you wanted to go for a big 2-base push, it was fine to sit on that very low SCV count. He's currently on 41 right now, has 2-2 upgrades on the way, but I don't know if he's going to be able to salvage this one. He's sitting at 69 supply, medevacs being picked off, which is never what you want, and with only a small handful of Marines coming out at a time, he's still only sitting on the, well, he's sitting on 3 active barracks right now. He's got another whole 4 in production, which is fantastic, but the issue now comes in the fact that his opponent has picked up a 4th base. Fredo's got his gas mining here. In fact, it's so efficient that he's got 4 in that geyser instead of 3. And now the mutas are just going to reign supreme in the air, coming in to deal another blow to the tech lab that was on that one factory that ProdigalSun has. The last few Marines are in quite a lot of trouble as well. There are so many mutas. We got a total of 24 mutas out on the map right now with their +1 upgrades, doing all sorts of damage, bouncing around with the glaive worm, and not only is that sort of in play right now, another 5 mutas being built, and the worker count for Fredo continues to climb. He's up to 70 right now. We've got another 10 drones about to pop out now, so he's going to be in absolutely fun town population. Fredo is going to try and pick off some of these supply depots to the side. I don't know if that's completely worth it. He will bring across some of the units here to try and defend against this. Will the Marines come across? The few Marines the ProdigalSun has, he's got, what, 15 Marines. Unfortunately for him, that is really not enough to deal with a big mutaflock like that, but he will force them back for the moment. And I'm thinking, given the given the way that Fredo is going about this, I think he's getting in position to get ready for some sort of big Lingbane and Muta attack very soon. Of course, he knows that his opponent is quite weak right now. ProdigalSun with a very low Marine count, of course, and unfortunately for him, some of these Marines are actually stuck, so they're just going to be defending this portion here, which is not very good at all for him. In fact, the factory just gets targeted down, not even with two on the weapons of these mutas. He's just going to target that down, and they will be, well, just heading back out. So the mutas in complete control of this game right now. Worker count up to 80. At 41 for ProdigalSun. He is in all sorts of trouble right now. He is going to need to pull a miracle out of his hat if Twitter want to salvage this particular match here in week 1 of the After Hours Gaming League. And the mutas just sweeping through. They do not care at all. The Marines coming to the rescue with 2-2, no less, but still. There is a very, very low count of those Marines right now. SCVs are even included in this bunch of units. Unfortunately, those drill bits on the Marines cannot shoot up. And there you go, 46 Banelings now morphing in, and unfortunately for ProdigalSun, he's in a position where he basically has no form of defense against a big Baneling count like that, let alone the Mutalisks that will obviously follow shortly after. So the Mutalisks just trying to draw some of these units out of position. They're doing a really good job of that, if I don't mind saying so. And wow, here come those Banes rolling along the plains of Howling Peaks. They're going to be forcing the howls of the Terran player in just a moment. ProdigalSun has seen what is coming. He knows his doom is imminent. The Marines coming out, turrets going down to try and defend against the Mutas, but when you've got these sorts of units all lined up at your front door, you know you're in all sorts of trouble. The medevacs actually pick up all the Marines, trying to get them out of danger, but here come the Banes. They're just going to be rolling through. Knock, knock, who's there? It is Fredo, and he is knocking down the door. Command Center goes down. Marines and the SCVs being absolutely decimated. And as we can see, this match is going to go to Team Zynga for Week 1 of the After Hours Gaming League Season 3. Hope you all enjoyed the cast. It's been Duckville, and you've been fantastic. Thank you all for joining me, and we'll catch you all next time.